Hey, what's going on, people? It's SGZ here from the SpartanGameZone, and in this video I've got another guarantee for you. Jeez, I feel like a car salesman. No, today I have a foolproof method of getting the Linoge, or Linoge, however you say it. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I hope it's not too bad. But anyway, the Linoge was formerly a world drop, but that all changed with the latest update, as it has now been added to Lavender Crowley's loot pool. If you're wondering where to find Lavender Crowley, you can find them in the droughts at this location. They're the first ever legendary hunt you'll come across, and they're located up to the left side of the initial fast travel station. Lavender Crowley can be a tedious fight, especially on Mayhem levels when it's more difficult. She initially starts with armor and deals big damage, so consider taking a corrosive weapon. I like the corrosive Linoge, but since that's what you're here for, you'll probably need something else. After you've drained all her health, she'll go into her pod, which is immune to all damage, so save your ammo. Out of this pod will spawn 2 more Crowleys, and this process repeats for these as well until there are 4 little Crowley munchkins roaming about. For everything but the main stage, an incendiary weapon will deal the most damage. There can also be a lot of enemies about, so keep that in mind, as you want to prevent any badass pods from reaching completion. This can be a real pain in Mayhem 4, which I have to suggest you avoid. As you can see here, it really wasn't worth it. The best way to get a Linoge is to fight her without any Mayhem modes active, or Mayhem 1 on normal mode to ensure she scales to your level. The loot increase from Mayhem modes doesn't affect loot pool drops, but you will get more world drops and anointed weapons. So if you're after an anointed Linoge, I feel the best Mayhem mode would be 3, as it's a nice balance between difficulty and reward. Lavender Crowley also has a bank lending in their loot pool, which you'll have to contest with. When her babies drop a legendary, it'll be either that or a Linoge when it's not a world drop. Unfortunately, I got a predatory lending what seemed like 90% of the time, and I have to say the drop rate on the Linoge is quite low, or it felt low for me, probably 1 in 10, which sounds about right. Now, what about the Linoge? Is it worth the trouble? Did I leave the gas on? Well, I'm surprised I don't hear this gun being talked about more, because if you need to deal some damage, this is the gun. It fires a barrage of slow moving projectiles which ricochet off objects. It's also a COB weapon, which means it'll overheat if it's used for too long. It can really rip through enemies and comes in incendiary and corrosive, which are 2 of the best damage dealing elements. However, the sheer amount of firepower comes at a cost. That cost is ammo consumption. It is really ammo hungry, but when you compare damage to ammo used, I feel the balance is quite fair. Because the projectiles are slow moving, you want to be close to your enemy to ensure they feel the full force of your attack. That's often not a problem, and a close range Amara build can really burn through people, especially with the extra elemental damage she deals as well. Overall, it's a great weapon, and you can always pull it out when you need to end someone's existence. So that's all for this video. Let me know if there's another weapon you'd like me to cover in the next one. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, consider dropping a like or subscribing, and I'll catch you in the next one.